Hey guys, welcome to the Tech Point Africa podcast. My name is Muiwa.
My name is Oganyeromo.
I'm Emmanuel.
And I'm Bolu.
How are you guys doing?
We're good.
I'm okay.
We're good.
I'm doing alright. So the crypto market is dealing with me, but I'm surviving. When you're looking for money, you start trying things out. But with the crypto market, you end up losing even more money than you bargained for, but you survive.
I thought it was buy the dip. buy the dip cash out. And all
I'm
those
not
things
even
that you
doing
put
money again.
It's not working out.
It's not.
That's what he used to say until he does another one.
Speaking about buying the dip, I think we can finally say that Elon Musk has bought the dip. Twitter has accepted his purchase bid, and so Elon Musk is finally buying Twitter for $44 billion. Wow. Onome, tell us about it.
So he says he's getting to 1 billion in cash. He's going to get 13 billion from Morgan Stanley and some other investment banks. Then he's also getting 12.5 billion from his stock in Tesla. He's going to get a loan against his stock in Tesla. So that's where he's getting the money from. Yep.
Oh, I see. So he's going to pay all cash for this.
Yeah, basically.
Some people are about to make some
Wow.
money. No wonder the deal is going to. So I'm sure many shareholders and even if the Twitter board was against it and all that, the shareholders would have been putting pressure on them, saying
Exactly.
we need to cash out because Twitter has been struggling financially.
I saw several tweets on Twitter, like of supposed Twitter shareholders saying that they want that why is the Twitter board not accepting Musk's, Elon's bid and all of that. So maybe that's all put pressure on them.
There are questions around why Musk even wants to buy Twitter. What he talks about is freedom of speech, how Twitter
Taking Twitter private.
Yeah, taking it private.
That taking
and
Twitter private part. What of those of us that have 0.00 something stake in Twitter? Bamboo or Chaka?
So I was listening to his TED interview last week, and he mentioned that he is willing to keep as many private shareholders as many shareholders as possible as SEC would allow, even when he takes it private. I guess people like you that have 0.000 it don't matter.
And funny enough,
but you make money,
price,
yeah?
Really?
funny enough, the share price keeps like fluctuating. It keeps.
So I heard it jumped by 5% when the news came out that Twitter is about to accept the stock price. Man, it's good to be.
But it hasn't
nice
gone
to be
below that
influential.
5%. Sure.
Oh, I see.
So I can't add to my Twitter stock now, right?
No.
Yeah, but I'm curious to know what has Elon Musk really said anything about getting Twitter's revenue up? Does he have any plans in that regard?
So far, I think he has been really quiet about that. He hasn't really said much. All he has been talking about is edit button. He said he tweeted something about getting rid of spam bots and verifying real human beings. But yeah, he hasn't really said anything about revenue.
He has also talked about making how the algorithm moderates tweets more transparent. I don't even know if it's necessarily a business move for him, but we really can't know what he's thinking.
Exactly.
So
you can't know what Elon Musk
we
is
can't
thinking.
know what he's thinking.
This is Elon Musk we are talking about here.
But then he probably values Twitter a lot because Twitter has been like his PR. He fired his whole PR team because he does all the PR himself by tweeting. So I don't know. I really don't know. We really can't say what it is exactly that Elon Musk wants with Twitter, aside what he has publicly said.
It would be so funny if his only reason for buying Twitter is to get an edit button.
People have said Elon Musk
like
is the only billionaire that is like doing cool stuff with his money. Everybody else is just doing boring things.
Which is ironic because he has a company named The Boring Company.
Yeah, I think boring in terms
like
of like
digging, right?
Digging, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that supposed conversation between him and Bill Gates?
Oh yes, I saw some things around that, but
and his reply shows that it's probably true. It's actually an actual conversation that was leaked. Like he shared it with a friend, and a friend of a friend shared it on Twitter. Where Bill Gates was
billionaire
like,
problems.
Yeah, but Bill Gates reached out saying, let's talk about some philanthropy in climate change. And then Elon Musk asked Bill Gates, do you still have a short position on Tesla? I don't want to get into the details of what a short position is, but it's like betting on Tesla not doing well. So and they said, and Bill Gates said yes, and he said, okay, I can't take you seriously about your talk about climate change. If you are willing to shut a company that is doing the most to battle climate change.
He has a point.
Hilarious stuff. Yeah, he has a point. If that conversation is real, though. Then some people were like, you should not take it personally. That's what billionaires do. It's just about making a quick buck.
That's just it.
So still on big tech giants and whatnot. Let's come back a bit to Africa, closer to home. And there's news about Google in Africa, Emmanuel.
Oh yeah, so Google has they announced a virtual launch of their submarine cable in Lekki, Lagos. That was last week Thursday, and even though they made it seem like the cable had already landed, we actually went to the beach and the cable had not yet landed, and
oh, so the cable is still on its way.
It's still on its way, but to be fair, the cable already landed in Togo a few weeks prior that. The original timeline for the cable was for Nigeria first, then other West African countries, but the Togolese government actually tried to see if they could convince Google to get the cable to that country first.
Why is everybody trying to ignore Nigeria first?
I don't
What
know.
do they do to the rest of Africa?
And I don't see it as so much of a big deal, though. Even though most media companies are making a very, very, very big deal out of it. I mean, honestly, the cable is going to get to everybody. Okay, not everybody on this. most.
So this is called people. Google. It's called Google Equiano. How do you pronounce it?
It's Equiano, and I hope I didn't murder the pronunciation, but it was named after a historical abolitionist, a slave abolitionist. He was sold as a slave. His name was Olaudah Equiano, and he was sold as a slave, and he wrote and he helped with the freedom of slaves globally today. So Google used that cable to honor him. And the virtual launch event, they pointed out, okay, it is fitting, but somehow it felt a bit ironic for reasons I won't go into. But yeah, basically what this cable means is it's all things being equal, you should have way faster internet connectivity. Google is saying it will offer you 6 times your current internet speeds in the next 3 years. I checked the average mobile internet speed in Nigeria as it's 80 megabits per second, and 6 times of that is about 112 megabits per second. So if 1 gig file, if you are downloading a 1 gig file from the internet right now, if your internet is 18 megabits per second, which quite frankly you only find in urban areas, if you are outside of Lagos or Abuja, you are not likely going to find that internet speed. So, but if you have that, it will take you like 7 minutes to download a 1 gig file. But if Google's promise comes to reality, it will take you just 1 minute, 2 seconds to download that file. So it's going to be a big leap in speeds. Then 1 gig of data that currently costs roughly 666 naira. That is the cheapest monthly plan for. It's going to likely cost about 140 naira, roughly 0.5 dollars, that is 50 cents, if Google's claim is to be believed. And it's going to be interesting to see how things all play out, because the issue with cables, if it's subsea cables, we already have them in abundance, a whole 100 terabits of internet cables lying on our coast. The issue has always been getting it to our homes and our offices. So the capacity that we're supposed to be getting right now should be a lot more than we're already getting. So many issues, right? Telcos, I think we've covered it on Tech Point in the past, right? Double taxation. Telcos are taxed on the state level and the federal level, and even sometimes at the local government level and at the Omonile level. Sorry, Omonile is like boys or young people in the locality. They come and charge you.
There's really no way to describe it in English.
Like,
you really have to take your time to find a way to describe money there.
Alright, so there's that. There's vandalism, and sometimes this vandalism are usually criminal activities. Sometimes it's just inadvertent. Construction works are always going on. When you are digging the ground, you might be digging a gutter, digging foundation for a house, and you end up cutting a terrestrial cable, right? So many things going on. Then the states themselves, they have this right of way issue where for you to lay 1 meter of fiber, you have to pay a certain amount of money. For states like Lagos, it used to be 5,000 naira per 1 meter. just as a fee to just pass this cable along a particular route. And so many states, some states have actually removed it, like they removed the right of way charges. Some dropped it to 125 naira. Lagos, interestingly, has a new policy which I think Google wants to actually leverage. So in 2020, if you follow TechPoint stories, you remember that Lagos introduced a dig once policy, meaning if this telco has dug this route, no other person should dig here again. All of you just tap into that network. That's the principle. So around that time, there were a lot of constructions and digging going around Lagos with pipes. So those pipes were like the ducts, and the cables will pass through all those ducts. So this company, Western Telecom, won the contract for this dig once policy in Lagos. And at that time, we were wondering who are they, where they come from. But apparently, they are the company that would make sure Google's cable capacity gets to at least the entire Lagos state. So the cable from the sea is going to pass through these fiber ducts that they've already dug around Lagos. And the company that is going to tap into that infrastructure is WIOC, the West Indian Ocean Cable Company. Yes, another new company, which of course, stay tuned. I think we need to find out more about them too. They were a coalition of some telcos in East Africa and an investment firm. So I was when I was doing my research on them, I was excited to find out, okay, I didn't see any West African telecom company on the list of shareholders when they're board or anything. So these are mostly East African guys. So yeah, that's something I'm going to look into. Yeah, so that's the gist from Google. Like a lot of promise, but a lot of things to be done.
How long till we can see the effects of all of this all over Nigeria?
All over Nigeria, they're estimating about 3 years. It could take longer than that. But interestingly, they said they will also be leveraging other people's infrastructure that they've already built in other cities. WIOC says they want to build data centers in different cities in Nigeria, not just Lagos. So they want to get these data centers as close to people as possible. So with these data centers, they'll be tapping on existing infrastructure, people that already have fiber cables.
Okay, so I mean, I guess it's bittersweet. Maybe some exciting news, but at the same time, maybe what a lot of media has not reported is that it's going to take quite a while before we see the effects. So it's not like Google is coming to save the day, or the people who have been around don't know what they are doing. All the infrastructural and regulatory issues are still on ground, and then maybe Google has the financial muscle to wait through them. We will see cool stuff. But the question, I guess the question on everybody's mind is what is in it for Google? Why Google? Facebook is also trying to pass submarine cable, has invested billions of dollars to bring submarine cables to Africa, right?
Yeah.
So why are all these big tech companies? The question is, why are they so interested in Africa? Why is Google bringing a submarine cable that is supposed to give us faster internet? What is in it for Google?
I guess it's more of a long-term investment, right? Just think of it like a farmer who has been farming where everybody has been farming before. They've dug several times, they've harvested several times, but there's this virgin forest that is relatively untapped. Few people have tapped into that market. Millions of Nigerians do not have access to the internet. It's the digital divide we keep talking about. Africa is where everything comes to full-blown reality. So yeah, Google, Facebook, they are all investing this in anticipation of a future internet explosion in Africa, right? 1 billion people coming into the digital space in the next few years, most of them young people, and yeah, that's the attraction, quite all right. And of course, in the immediate time, Google is actually going to be making money from this cable that just landed, right? They will, for every
really?
Yeah, people that are coming to connect from the cable to pass into, they're going to be paying.
So businesses?
Yeah, businesses, data, because we are now seeing an influx of data centers. So all these telecom companies or internet service providers that will come to try and tap into this infrastructure, of course, they're going to pay. Then when the whole fiber connectivity thing happens and people are now using the internet, they also make money from that. Then the big picture part of more ad revenue, there's also that. So yeah, they're actually making money from several layers in this. So it's actually, it makes sense business wise. and both short term and long term. Only if they can just get it to the interland. That's what I mean.
Oh yeah. Google might be able to figure that out in terms of the kind of influence they are supposed to have.
They are relatively hands off though. They've provided the money.
Oh.
So they're leaving WeHawk and the other telcos to just do your thing.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's not all altruistic for Google, obviously. It's all about the next billion users. They're a business, they're not a charity anymore. Yeah. So yeah. Seeing as for many people all over the world, the internet is actually Google and Facebook. I remember reading a research some years back, and they asked many people, have you ever used many regular Africans or people in the emerging markets, have you used the internet before? And they said no. Then they asked them, have you used Facebook before? And they said yes. Like, I've used the internet. You get? So it's still a thing in Africa, especially. It makes sense for Google. Yeah. That naming though, like you said, very interesting choice of name, but we'll get to that. But yeah, Africa is not really necessarily lagging behind. That's a fact. When you look at areas like blockchain, and you see all the innovation that is going around blockchain in Africa, right? And then there's something interesting that we heard about last week. Bolu.
Yeah, a university in South Africa, University of Johannesburg, will start issuing blockchain-based certificates to limit forgery, fake certificates, and things like that. I think it's actually a welcome development, because it's really interesting to see more blockchain applications outside crypto, outside fine. We've not really seen that a lot. It's usually crypto, NFT, this, that, but it's interesting to see that people are starting to realize that there's so much that blockchain is capable of, besides just cryptocurrencies. The university will, once you get your certificate, you print it out and then say you give it to an employer or someone, and they need to verify. There's going to be a QR code on it, and then once they scan, they're able to tell, okay, you actually graduated from University of Johannesburg. And I've been thinking about how can this really be applied to Nigeria, and then I saw somewhere where they were talking about how people use a lot of fake documents during NYSC registrations and stuff. It's actually really interesting to think about how we can apply this to different things, and blockchain really. It's only blockchain that can make things like that possible.
This sounds cool, but break it down in simple terms. What exactly will the blockchain do to prevent certificate fraud? How would it work exactly?
Okay, I think to really understand how it will prevent fraud, it's important to also understand how exactly blockchain works. So blockchain is just basically database, like ensuring that there's a secure database. And how does it do that? Does that through decentralization. So if I have a particular file on my computer, Muiwa has one on his computer, Emmanuel has one on his computer, and Onome also has one on her computer. Nifemi is trying to doctor something in that file. She has to do it on my computer first, do it on Muiwa's computer, but then she can't really do it one by one, because with blockchain everything has to be done simultaneously at once. So it really makes it impossible, to make changes when you have to make it across a network of nodes. Nodes just means computer. So when you have to make that change across network of nodes simultaneously, it's just impossible. So blockchain takes that single centralized database. It takes it, and it's not just in that single place. It's everywhere. You get it's everywhere, and then for you to change anything, you have to change it everywhere at the same time. So that certificate that has been issued by the school, once they put it on, once it has been confirmed by all those network of computers that this person graduated with a 4.0 GPA at this particular university, and all the networks confirm it, and it has been registered. And then someone is trying, in the computer age, there's always hacking and stuff like that, and someone is, let me just look for the school's database, I hack, and then I change to whatever I want. You can't really do that, because to do that, you have to do that across a network. So once you go on the blockchain, you can trust that whatever the blockchain is giving you, whatever information is giving you, is the correct one. So I guess what's great, because the school didn't really give details, but I looked a little bit further, and with my knowledge on how blockchain works, I'm sure that the school's database is going to now be on a blockchain network. That is where the issue is. So now, if it's not on a public blockchain network, there might still be, it might really not be an issue of decentralization. It might not even be a scenario where the information is actually on the blockchain. So if it's on a private blockchain network, and we have, say, 2 or 3 computers that information is on, it might still be easy for that person to do that. It's just a case of, like I made an example with Muiwa, Emmanuel, myself, and Onome having that information on our computers. So pay all 4 of us and just say, all of you change it at the same time. But when they put that information on a public blockchain, for example, Solana, or let's even make a more something people understand better, like Bitcoin now. I think Bitcoin has thousands of nodes. So to do that across, it's just impossible. So that is where the issue is with now. But I guess they don't want to reveal maybe such information yet. We say it's impossible to hack blockchain. Things happen. People are really intelligent, and people always come up with things every time, every day. And another thing with blockchain is, as it's getting even more advanced, it's becoming, to me, I think it's becoming less secure the more advanced it gets. For me, the most secure blockchain will still be Bitcoin, because when you start having issues of smart contracts and things like that, and then there's one genius whiz somewhere that can find a loophole in your smart contracts, and then is locking you out of your own network. That's just because we've actually seen that happen before, right? In 2016, there was a DAO, and then they created a smart contract, and then they pulled funds together, about $150 million. So someone found a loophole in that smart contract, locked them out of their own system, and they could not do anything, and siphoned the entire 100. So I guess it's important for the school to also, is it really important for them to review which blockchain they're actually hosting the information on? I don't know. What do you think?
Maybe like it's just it's possible it's a premature announcement, the fact that there's not enough information.
Yes.
So maybe there's,
because from information they said it's starting this year. I don't think it has started actually, but they said this year their certificates are going to be blockchain. Yeah.
Perhaps they could use like IBM's blockchain, for
exactly.
example.
The one being used for the in-era. Yes. So I think that one sounds okay. It sounds cool. The only thing I want them to do until we see that it's not really as powerful as we think it is. But I think the main thing is just have enough nodes and make it impossible for people to like hack. So if all of this is sounding, even as Bolu broke it down, made it very simple, if it's still sounding very confusing for you, don't be afraid. That's why we have the blockchain TechPoint Africa Blockchain Summit, exactly,
holding on the 21st of May,
exactly,
right, where we will break down all of this, right. Bolu, just tell them what to expect.
Yeah, the TechPoint Africa Blockchain Summit, I think even I myself, like, I'm really looking forward to it, because it's a situation where you really get a one-on-one, like it's a really close, we are breaking down the fourth wall of what events used to be like. So we have breakout sessions where you can really communicate with the speakers, ask them questions. So there's a breakout session on starting a career in blockchain. What do you need to know? How do you go about it? What careers are there even when it comes to blockchain? Is it just being a developer? Is there a career for someone who is in the creative? We really will iron these things out there. There's also a breakout sessions on NFTs, DeFi, DAOs. How do they work? How can you make money off them? This era of decentralized opportunities, how do you really take part in it? And then there's also an hackathon. I need to add that there's $2,500 worth of prizes to be won. So if you're a blockchain person,
nice, you
can really, it's an opportunity to like make some really cool cash. So we are really, I want to like give a what would I call it now?
How much you call it again, sorry?
$2,500.
Okay.
Of worth of
some
cash
of us
prizes
can disguise
to
one. Do Web3.
You can do that. Just call me when you want to do that, Emmanuel. Let me know about it. So we have an amazing lineup of speakers. I don't know if I can reveal any of them, but just stay in touch. Like you'll be, I'm
Yeah,
sure
we'll announce them
yes,
soon.
we'll be announcing them soon this week actually. So it's going to be an amazing one, really amazing one.
Okay, cool stuff. So the website is blockchain. Just go to blockchain.techpoint.africa. But we'll put the link in the show notes so that you can check it out. Register, whether it's for the main conference, and choose the breakout sessions you want.
Yeah.
Or you want to attend the hackathon. Okay, so we'd like to hear what you think about everything we've discussed today. Elon Musk to buy Twitter, Google's cable landing in Lagos, and the ripple effects of that, and universities in Africa using blockchain to verify certificates. You can email us at podcast@techpoint.africa, or you can tweet and use the hashtag TechPointAfricaPodcast to let us know your thoughts. We'd like to hear from you. And if you are listening for the first time, this is the TechPoint Africa podcast, and you can get it where?
On Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and anywhere else you get your podcast. Yeah, I didn't forget Podcast Addict. I always keep forgetting it, but
no biggie. So thanks for staying with us. If you stayed to the end, we're happy you did. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.